Things just took a major turn for the New York Jets as their superstar, the current franchise player of the New York Jets, has a contract extension incoming and a deal will happen soon, keeping Garrett Wilson as the face of the New York Jets going forwards, and we are going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as we always do. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, if you're happy that Garrett Wilson is going nowhere, make sure to be subscribed to Jets Digest. We have multiple videos a day. We have a lot of fun content coming up for the free agency, for the offseason, for the draft. It's going to be a ton of fun. You guys don't want to miss out. But let's jump into it, Matt, because what we all needed in our lives, Garrett Wilson, he's sticking around, man. It's been made official. As revealed by Zach Rosenblatt, New York Jets wideout Garrett Wilson reportedly wants to re-up with the New York Jets and is likely seeking a contract extension that would pay him around $30 million per year. Now, obviously, we could not have heard better news about Garrett Wilson. Wilson has never had a season under 1,000 receiving yards. Last season had his best in the NFL, 101 receptions, 1,104 receiving yards, which leads to 10.9 yards per reception along with 7 touchdowns, something that is bound to go up with just an absolute lack of other receivers on the New York Jets. Something we'll probably get into on a lot of videos going forwards if we're talking about the Jets offense, just because it's kind of hard to not talk about. But we'll save that for when we save that, because we have Garrett Wilson to talk about right now. One of the best receivers in football. The man, there was a fear that he would not want to come back to the New York Jets, Matt, because of the fact that he's just a winning player and it's killing him to be on a losing team. But the fact that he wants to re-up, it seems like it's likely true that the fact that Tom Brady, the fact that Aaron Rodgers left the New York Jets, got cut from the New York Jets essentially, and the Jets are moving in a new direction with a new head coach in Aaron Glenn, a new GM in Darren Mougey. Clearly, Garrett Wilson trusts them and is now getting a payday. That'll be similar to guys like Brandon Ayuk and Tyreek Hill, who both make an average of $30 million per year. Meanwhile, Amon-Ra St. Brown makes basically the same, that just an extra $2,500 per year. And then there's the more upper echelon of the $35 million per year for Justin Jefferson, the $34 for CeeDee Lamb, and the $32 for A.J. Brown. Obviously, all of these guys are top receivers in the NFL. The top 5 of them are all wide receiver ones on any given championship team. And now Garrett Wilson joins in, and he'll slide in with basically the same contract as Brandon Ayuk and Tyreek Hill, Matt. I mean, perfect move for the Jets. Garrett Wilson gets big money. Huge win.
Yeah, getting a big-time wide receiver like Garrett Wilson on your team long-term without breaking the bank sounds like a winning move in the long run. We know the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to pay Jamar Chase, and the rumors are they're going to have to pay him upwards of $40+ million per year. That's insane. I will take Garrett Wilson for $10 million less. Bring him here. We got to remember, right now the report that we're hearing is he is looking for $30+ million per year, which does not guarantee that he gets that money. Brandon Ayuk had a first-team All-Pro season under his belt before signing that contract, as did Tyreek Hill. Garrett Wilson has no such accolades to speak of at this current time in his career, so it is still possible that he gets less money than that. I'm going to be standing firm on my correlation between Garrett Wilson's contract and Jalen Waddle's contract, where he received just over, I don't remember the number off the top of my head. I believe it was just over $27 million per year. So that's where I would expect Garrett Wilson to be, $27 to $29 million per year. Is he better than Jalen Waddle? You can be the judge. What has changed since Jalen Waddle's contract was the salary caps have gone up, so teams have more money to pay wide receivers. And as time moves forward, you may notice guys get paid more and more and more. That's why the salary cap goes up, because the NFL understands that guys want to be paid more money, and players want to be the highest paid, whatever they are. So they have to up the salary cap to allow teams to pay these players the money that they're asking for while still being able to put a team around them. Garrett Wilson, obviously the number 1 wide receiver on the New York Jets. Chris, you mentioned the New York Jets wide receiver room absolutely barren outside of number 5. We needed this bad. If Garrett Wilson did demand a trade, we would have been absolutely in trouble, because if we had Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka as our number 1 wide receiver, It would not be a good thing. Garrett Wilson, of course, can't do it by himself. We are going to make more videos, of course, talking about who are going to be wide receivers 2 and 3 for the Jets. Really hoping Malachi Corley can take a step up here in New York, but we're going to see how that goes. Right now, it is time to celebrate Garrett Wilson wanting to come back with the New York Jets. We've been waiting for news. I've talked a lot about him, how he could have dispelled the rumors, but he didn't. I'm glad he's finally stepping up and saying he is looking to come back to the New York Jets, and that makes me feel a lot better as a Jets fan going forwards.
Matt, how much money will the Jets cut again if they cut Devontae Adams?
How much do they save? $36.2 million.
And Garrett Wilson wants $30 million. Obviously, that's per year. I understand.
It's
yes, not the same.
Yes.
But it is interesting.
No, they would both be per year.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah. All right.
So that kind of feels like a perfect storm for Darren Mougey and the New York Jets. However, Mougey still has to find other wide receivers. I mean, we've talked about this a bit. To find someone in free agency, it's going to be very expensive. So you'd either have to go with a pretty lower level guy who's maybe a wide receiver 3 for just cheap enough money. Outside of that, the Jets will almost certainly look to draft a wide receiver. We've talked about this a lot with Jordan Travis and him being that 5th-round quarterback. Obviously, Malachi Corley being a 3rd-round wide receiver is a lot different from being a 5th-round quarterback. And all that being said, though, the new regime, being that this is their first year, they haven't drafted a wide receiver yet. So there's a world where they're going to look through wide receivers as well as them being linked to tight end Tyler Warren, who's a great receiver. So it does add to a lot where we're going to see the Jets have to do something so Garrett Wilson isn't constantly just facing double teams. And he's still going to face double coverage a lot anyway this season. But still, they need to do something to create someone who, I mean, you could either go through the draft and get a highly touted prospect, or you could go the route of trying to get some sort of veteran to help the Jets out as well instead of just having a super young wide receiver room. Though that might not also be the worst thing in the world for a New York Jets team that, at the end of the day, this is still going to be a rebuilding season for them most likely, unless they just have a surprising show up.
Yeah, I mean, that 2nd and 3rd round hit rate for wide receivers are pretty good. Don't be surprised if the New York Jets take a wide receiver in, day 1 or day 2. Tedero McMillan, of course, a name to watch out for in the 1st round. Like you mentioned, receiving threats don't always have to be wide receivers. Tyler Warren is very much in play with the 7th overall pick. He's skyrocketing up draft boards currently. Everyone knows well, maybe not everyone knows, but now that people are diving in closer to the film, they're noticing all the things that he does very well, which are all things that would be perfect for the New York Jets offense. So he is an exciting player. Day 2 and day 3, guys, the draft from picks honestly, right after we pick 8 to around the mid-30s, like 35, those picks honestly aren't that good this year. So I'm really glad we're where we are. But after that, the draft is going to pick up in value. There are a lot of players this year who are worthy of 30, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round selections. So I do think this is a year where Darren Mougey can flex his muscles when it comes down to scouting players successfully. Aaron Glenn, also a former scout, he's going to have an opportunity to show what he can do scouting-wise and hopefully go out and find the New York Jets some quality wide receivers because we need at least 2 more. We can't depend on Malachi Corley for anything. Unfortunately, Allen Lazard is going to be cut. That is what the reports we are currently hearing about him are. And Xavier Gibson, it's just Xavier Gibson. He's not going to be a long-term, he's not going to be the solution to anything. Can he be depth? Yes. Can he be helpful? Yes. Can he make a good play here or there? Yes. But he's not a guy you're going to depend on down in and down out. So New York Jets certainly need more help at wide receiver, but Garrett Wilson is the hardest part of that wide receiver room. One of the number one things for your offense you need is that number 1 threat. And we are one of the lucky teams who has a number 1 wide receiver who is a threat to opposing defenses.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this for the New York Jets. Obviously, there's still more moves to come, and this still has to get hammered out. So we'll see the exact prices, and once we do, we'll report on them. So, guys, make sure you subscribe to Jets Digest. Like this video, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. Great night, I guess. Go Jets.